All right, well, welcome, Jessup family. This is our Christmas chapel for the year, the end of 2020. It's the end of 2020. It's kind of crazy when you think about that.
So excited.
But we just wanted to come together and just chat a little bit, have a little bit of just kind of a talk with you, and so that you can get to know us a little bit as well, and just to send you off to Christmas the best way that we can. And so before we get going, we're going to introduce ourselves. I know that you know them a lot more than me, but I'm PJ Garza. I am the new campus ministries director here at Jessup. Super excited to be with you, to be able to share my life with you, to serve you, and to be here for you. And I'm looking forward to all the amazing things that God has for this upcoming semester in 2021. So yeah, super excited for that.
Yeah, my name is Kayla Belongi. I am the campus ministries coordinator here. I have been in this role for this whole semester, and so I'm super excited for the spring semester and just to see what we've got coming.
Hi, I'm Dr. Marianne McMillan. I'm the assistant director of campus ministries. I've been here for 2.5 years now, so this is like my third Christmas time here, so it's excited to be here.
And I'm PC Walker, and right now I'm the campus chaplain, and I'm also the residence director in the upperclassmen apartments in the block. All right, here's the thing. I have a question for you guys.
Oh, we're gonna have fun.
We gotta think about Christmas coming up. Let's pretend you're Santa, and what is the cookie that you hope is on the plate when you show up as Santa? And then a second part of the question, you have to answer, what is the cookie that, if that cookie is on that plate, I'm throwing it away, or I'm going to feed it to the reindeer because I don't want anything to do with it, right? So for sure, I want to make sure that white chocolate macadamia nut cookies are on the plate. That's my favorite cookie ever. But if there's lemon in any cookie,
Did you say lemon?
Yeah, lemon.
That's my favorite.
Lemon does not belong in baked goods or of any sort, and especially not in cookies. So if there's any hint of lemon, it needs to be thrown in the trash or fed to the reindeer. And I don't even think a reindeer will eat it if I tried to give them something made of lemon. That's my answer.
Passionate about that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna answer that question. The cookie that I want on the plate is the lemon cookie.
No,
That is
get out of
my
here.
family tradition.
Nobody
We have
wants
lemon cookies
Gross.
every year. The gooey ones, that's what I want. But the one that I would give to the reindeer, one, I would give all the vegetables that people be leaving on the plates. Because
That's why
that's
they're on
not
the
a
plate.
cookie.
It's for the
Yes. But yeah, any cookie that has nuts in it. Like that nut one you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Like you could give that to the reindeer.
Man, no.
I agree with that. Yeah, I definitely want snickerdoodles on the plate. I think that might be one of my favorite Christmas-y cookies. All of those are for me. I won't share those. And then also same though, anything with nuts in it, nuts do not belong in any baked good or cookie ever. I'll take your lemon though, that's fine.
Gross.
Wow, this is, well, the cookie that definitely should be on the plate for me is what we call a monster cookie. I think I've tried to explain this to people before, but it's lots of, just doesn't have any flour in it. That's the only thing that I know about, but bottom line has lots of chocolate chips, lots of M&Ms in it. So anything that makes it extra sugary and chocolatey for me is what belongs there. And then the one that I would definitely give over to the reindeers is oatmeal raisin, the raisin cookies.
Oh, that's so good. That's my second
I
favorite
love
kind.
those. I love those.
That's my second
And then there's some
favorite
people,
kind.
I don't know if you've ever had one, there's some people who put cranberries in it too.
So
No.
good.
That
Cranberries
do not belong in any kind of cookies
So
ever,
good.
in my personal humble
Oatmeal
opinion.
butterscotch though is really good.
Oh yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yes, the
I don't
cran-
need cranberries in anything though. Gross.
But the cranberry bliss bar, Starbucks.
Oh,
is so
that's
good.
true. I will get down on that. That is for sure.
Man, so I'm gonna ask a question.
Okay.
Favorite Christmas movie? I'll start. So my favorite Christmas movie, it's This Christmas. Many people have heard of it, some haven't. It's got Chris Brown in it, the singer. And fun family drama. There's like a Soul Train line in the middle of it where the family's dancing. Lots of family drama. It reminds me of my family. But yeah, it's my favorite Christmas movie.
Well, I mean, my favorite Christmas movie is the best Christmas movie, which is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's the best, top notch. I mean, you can't beat it. It's the absolute best. It's hilarious, and you can just quote it from beginning to end. I mean, maybe a close second would be like Christmas Story with Ralphie, but I still don't. It can't beat Chevy Chase in National Lampoon's. It's the best.
This one is so hard for me because I have a very hard time picking favorites. Elf, I love Elf. It's a classic for me, but maybe like all-time favorite, and this is very much influenced by my father, is Jingle All the Way.
Yes.
That one just like gets me every
That's
year.
Tim Allen, right?
No, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Yeah, that's a good one.
My former governor.
Yeah, my former
In a
governor.
Christmas movie.
That's a good one. For me, this is a really, really hard question too. Elf is, you can't go wrong, but for me, just because of my childhood and I watched it a billion times, is Home Alone. Home Alone is hard to beat, and we watch it over and over and over again all the time, and it's just awesome. So Home Alone for me.
But wait, fix this. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
No.
Yes. I say yes. It's a Christmas movie. It happens on Christmas, right?
I would agree.
You would agree?
I would
All
agree
right,
that it
good
is
times.
a Christmas. It's not the best Christmas movie.
No, I didn't
But it
say
is
that.
a
I didn't say
Christmas
that.
movie.
I just wanted to clarify that it's a Christmas movie.
I highly recommend, for those of you who haven't seen it, 'cause I doubt that any of you, go watch Die Hard.
Yeah, you have to
Answer
watch
it for
Die
that
Hard.
for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my question for everybody, what is your favorite Christmas tradition? So my family, traditions kind of changed all the time, but something that I looked forward to every year was just decorating. Like we would make a huge deal about when we would decorate for Christmas, and we had to make sure that it was going to be on a weekend, so we had the full day to decorate, watch Christmas movies, bake cookies, all of that. So that's my favorite.
For me, it is, and this is more of a, I don't know, probably last 15 years, and not really so much childhood, but Thanksgiving night. So you're done. We usually like doing Thanksgiving for like a lunch, and then we get done and we put everything away, and then at that point we start literally the decorating right then and there. But we do watch Home Alone, our favorite Christmas music or movie, right then and there. So we're done with lunch, we get everything put away, we watch Home Alone, and then boom, the decorating starts right then and there. And then typically you go into that weekend and do all the decorations and stuff like that. But you get done, you're full, you kind of get everything ready, you sit down, you watch your favorite Christmas music, or Christmas movie, and that's the start of Christmas for us.
I guess for me, every Christmas Eve growing up, we would always have sub sandwiches for dinner. It was our thing. We would always have lemon cookies and eggnog.
Filthy gross.
But we would always get brand new pajamas on Christmas Eve. And also, my grandmother used to send my sister and I a box every Christmas. My sister and I are adopted, and we still have a great relationship with our biological grandma. And she would send us a box every Christmas, and we would get to open her gift on Christmas Eve. So it was really sweet to be able to do that every year.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know. There's so many things that happen in like that Christmas season time. I like tamales on Christmas Eve, always every year.
Amen.
We always go to the Christmas Eve service and then come back and have tamales, and then there's pajamas Christmas Eve night that you're waking up in. Well, my wife grew up having pajamas. I did not. And then I joined the family, and she grew up with sisters, and they all got pajamas. And so I just started bringing my own pajamas every year because I was like, I'm a part of this family now. And so they never got me pajamas, so I just brought my own. Every year I bring my own pajamas.
Are you wearing those pajamas by any
No,
chance right now?
no. This is my tracksuit. This is good stuff right here.
It's very nice.
This is I can't sleep in this. I think other than that, I think there's always just like everything switched when we had kids, and like Christmas becomes all about the kids, and watching them like just enjoy Christmas through their eyes is just the best. It was the best switch in life, and watching that happen. So, like all the gifts are now for them, and like you get maybe one, and so it's like, and it's the best. It's just the best watching them enjoy Christmas. So that's like my favorite part about Christmas as far as tradition goes. But yeah, it's hard to beat tamales.
What about menudo? Have you ever had menudo?
I've had menudo, not on Christmas.
So that's
but I've
a
had it.
Christmas Eve tradition for us as well. Like going back to my childhood, it's tamales, and because tamales technically is a gift because you have to unwrap it.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a gift and it's food. It's amazing. And then menudo, yeah, so it's really good. So my question for y'all is, what is your favorite Christmas gift? And this is a kind of a funky one. I can say of all time, like, or childhood, like something that just totally just when you think of Christmas, you remember that day. For me, it is, I don't know, maybe 8. I think I was 8 because it was 1988. It was earlier that fall is when Bo Jackson, the Oakland Raiders, came over to Seattle, the Kingdom, and he went up against Brian Bosworth, and it was just like this big old deal. And then Bo Jackson, if you guys haven't seen it, go watch his 30 for 30 on ESPN. I mean, they'll show this play, but he gets this running play, and he runs so fast that he never stops. And he runs through the tunnel, and they're like, Bo, that's before the Bo knows this and all that started, right? So it was like this big thing. So then this rivalry started, and we hated the Raiders and all that stuff. Well, anyway, that Christmas, it was like the first time where you can get a whole suit or outfit, uniform or whatever of your favorite football team. So that year I happened to get a Brian Bosworth, even though he got rocked by Bo Jackson. I got a Brian Bosworth full-blown football uniform suit. So I had the pants with the pads in it, the shoulder pads, the jersey, and then a helmet. And then it was just really cool. My godfather gave me that gift. I thought it was the coolest gift ever. And then inside of the helmet, there was also a $20 bill. And for an 8-year-old kid who doesn't have a lot, a $20 bill was like, I am filthy rich. And so that has always just stuck out to me as my favorite Christmas gift.
And every year you pull it out and sleep in it on Christmas Eve.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. I'm trying to think. So I grew up with of 3 boys of a single mom, and I remember one year she had made it happen, man. Like, and in the years when, it was like Christmas magic when single mom could make everything happen, for 3 boys. And there was one year she somehow got 3 matching like desks and had them built and ready when we woke up in the morning, and we hung out at those desks all the time and like filled it with junk that had nothing to do with anything, but like it was just like this whole thing, and it was such a nerdy thing, but it just stuck out as like somehow mom made this happen where she got us these nice desks that were in our house for a long time, and we all like got to put our own stuff in our desk, and like this is my desk and this is my stuff, and we got to do all that. And I remember being like thrilled that I got to have that. There was the other year when it was like she made it happen to get me a starter jacket, and everybody wanted a starter jacket.
Yeah.
Everybody had a starter jacket.
Was it the
but me.
pullover? Was it the pullover one by any chance?
No, it wasn't the pullover one. It had the zipper down. It had like the white right here, and right here. But it was Chicago Bears. It was my favorite team, and she got it for me. And everybody had one except me, and so she made it happen for Christmas one time. And our Santa, I don't know, somebody made it happen.
For me, I lived overseas for a few years, and living overseas, you can't always have the fun American snacks. And Oreos are my favorite cookies of all times.
That's
and
not true. That's not true, because you just said
lemon.
your
I know.
favorite cookie was
But
lemon.
for Christmas. That's Christmas cookies.
okay.
But my favorite cookie of all times are Oreos. Mint Oreos are my favorite. And so I knew I was going to have to go 2 years without having Oreos unless somebody shipped me a box, and my family member was not doing that. And so that my first Christmas living overseas, my roommate had a gift for me, and I was like, okay. And I opened it up, and it was Oreos. And she had just had a friend in town a few weeks beforehand, and she asked them to bring some Oreos so that she could give it to me for Christmas. So yeah, I got my Oreos cookies, and I ate one cookie a week, and it lasted me a good 2 months. They were stale by the end of the 2 months, but I ate one cookie a day for 2 months. Yes.
What
Self-control.
if the filling in an Oreo was lemon? Would you like brain explode?
They do have them.
I'm
The
sure
golden,
they
they
do.
do.
They
They're
do
my
have 'em.
favorite.
They got everything. They
They're
have
my
like
favorite.
turkey stuffing.
Yes, they
inside
have
of
them.
Oreos.
Yes.
But it's not a chocolate outside cookie.
It's not. It's the golden.
It's the golden.
Yes,
See,
with the lemon.
the golden.
Still gross.
I think my favorite Christmas gift, I'm like a big experiences person. So I would much rather like go do something or go somewhere than like have an item. With that, I think my favorite was just going to Disneyland for Christmas. Like that was the best. Like on Christmas Day, forget everything else, just be in Disneyland and experience the magic, and it was wonderful.
This is not in our questions, but we all love Disneyland, right? And
Here's the thing
Oh.
about Disneyland. I love it now that I have kids, but before I had kids, I grew up in the Midwest, away from Disneyland, and going to things like roller coaster parks.
Oh, yeah,
So
like-
then when I got married to a California girl who loves Disneyland, and then she was like, she would take me to Disneyland, and I'd just be like, I don't get it. So I couldn't stand Disneyland because I was like, there's nothing fun here. And then I had my kids, and then I was like, oh, this place, there is some magic here somewhere. Yeah.
Very much
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, but then it's like, have you heard the joke from like Jim Gaffigan? Where he's like, Disneyland is just like basically me spending all my money. So yeah, it's like that's, as a dad, still I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so expensive, and I'm waiting in line for all of it. Yeah.
Anyway, I love Disneyland. I'm a Disneyland guy, so. Last question is a little bit more maybe on the serious side, but definitely what we want to, leave with you guys and talk with about is the reason for the season, right? Jesus. And one thing that has kind of come up lately, obviously, in the times that we're living is it's a lot of craziness, a lot of stuff going on around us. But every time we come into this time of year, technically you're going to be out of school here pretty soon. We're going to be able to be home, and things kind of slow down a little bit. So then you have time to think, and you have time to ponder and about the year and about what's going on. And with this stuff going on and this year, it's going to be really nice to just sit and think about these things. But one thing that we would want you to think about, and I'll ask you guys, is what are you going to be doing this Christmas season, this Christmas time, to really be intentional about your relationship with Jesus and making room for him. And I'll answer first, but one thing that has just kind of come up lately in my life, and it's been a crazy year, but we just lost another close friend, a teacher of a former teacher friend of mine, colleague, lost a battle of cancer, and she went home to be with Jesus. And for the last, 15 years, she was very intentional about sharing the Christmas story with students and everywhere she went and those around her. And about 3 years ago, she wrote a skit, a drama out, and they acted this out, and it was really powerful and something that's never left me and probably will never leave me, a memory that I'll have of her. But the slide that was on the screen when it happened, it was a picture of the manger. If you can't see it, I will show you, but we'll do that next time. It was a picture of the manger with a star above the manger, and it says, each of us is an innkeeper who decides if there's going to be room for Jesus or not in our heart. And that has really struck me and has really made me think about, with all the stuff going on around me, am I making a conscious effort to make room for Jesus in my heart? Because everything else is pulling me, not that they're pulling me away from Jesus, it's not. It's like one crazy thing happens and it leads to another and it leads to another, and life can get really busy, life can get crazy, and I'm not intentionally ignoring Jesus or ignoring the reason for the season or whatever. I'm not doing that, but it could happen really easy. And so this is just a really great reminder for me that I need to be intentional. I need to sit down, have some alone time with a nice cup of hot chocolate and my favorite cookie, and be intentional and thank Jesus every day for his son being born, or thank God for his son Jesus being born for us and for what that means. If you go into Luke 2 and verse 7, it's crazy. The whole story is unbelievable. Imagine Mary going around and knocking and trying to find room because she knew she was going to give birth. And I think she got denied, 2 or 3 times that we can read of and read about. But Jesus got denied, not really on purpose. I think they were really full. And they didn't know who and what Jesus was at the time. But at the very last part of verse 7 says, she wrapped him in a blanket and laid him in a manger because there was no room in a hostel. So all she could do was have the blanket that she had and find a manger, right? Go find this little barn, hostel, whatever it is that you want to call it, and found this little wooden thing, manger, and put Jesus in there. And that was the room that she made for our Savior, for Jesus. Now, what is the manger? What part of your heart, what part of you do you need to make room for him so he can go lay in there and sit in there for you? And I know that I want to be intentional for that. I need to go find that for me as a person, for me as a leader, for me as a dad, as a husband. But I'm going to be intentional. I want to be, as far as there's going to be room for him, and I'm just going to, all these words that come with Christmas, right? Emmanuel, God with us, and all these. Christmas is so amazing. But I want to encourage you to make room and be intentional to make room for Jesus, because he's there and he wants to be for sure in your heart. So, yeah.
I love that. That's really good. I think something for me that I try to do that's really practical, I do this all throughout the year, but I think it's especially important to pay attention to maybe when your structure is a little bit different, but it's keeping a Sabbath day. So whether that's minimum once a week or more if you can, really just being intentional to keep the Sabbath, so no real work, no homework, no finals or anything like that. Really setting aside that time and being intentional to keep that time every single week. People can structure this totally different. You can customize it as what fits best for you. But I think just really being intentional to make that day something that is the same every week. And not letting it become your day of Netflix binging or just sitting on the couch and doing nothing. Those are great too. Please have some of that. But that Sabbath day is really for being with the Lord and having that time. I think that can be in solitude and silence, but it can also be in community with people who are lifting you up as well. So whether that's Zoom calls or time with family this break, I think it's just really important to have a day set aside, and at least as much as you can. But during this break, when structure is a little bit different and you don't have class every day, just really, really being intentional with that time.
Yeah, that's great. That's so good. I know for me, I normally don't go home for Christmas, but I'm going home this year. I haven't seen my family in like a year and a half. And normally when I go and see my family, I try to be intentional with my family, with each family member, and to try to spend time with them one-on-one. Especially this year, it's been hard with COVID and all the race stuff that's happened in the world and everything else that's going on. I told myself when I go home to spend time with them and just to sit and listen to them and to hear from them and make sure that they're being seen and heard, because they're not believers. And so I feel like for my life, God has used me as that light in some of their lives. And so it's a great time for them to ask spiritual questions without them feeling like someone's judging them or whatnot. So I try to do that for my family during that time.
I love the intentionality with just being around each individual family member. That's really good. There's something about presence with a person, just sitting with a person, that we don't give a lot of. I think that also kind of is what I love about, it's what I love about the Christmas story altogether, is that, I mean, you mentioned Emmanuel. We know because of the Christmas story that Jesus is to be called Emmanuel, who is God with us. And it's the whole point of it, of the incarnation, right, is that he came closer to us. And I think a lot of us in all of our life, every year, but especially this year, I think we have felt the disconnect, or we have felt a distance, that God feels distant, right, in the things that we're either experiencing or when we literally have to socially distance from connection with people, then we project that distance onto God as well, and he starts to feel just as distant. And the Christmas story for me in the incarnation is a reminder that God came close and stayed close. And I'm entering into this season, and I love that we've asked this whole question, because I always go into Christmas busy, and not just because of like working in a university where everything is crazy, but even just always. You get really busy at Christmas, and you're providing everything, you're planning everything, getting everything ready, and I can get to like Christmas morning and have completely forgot Jesus like for the last 2 weeks, right? And so it's always a challenge for me, that I want to challenge myself to enter into the whole season aware of things, paying attention to things. So I love this question, but that's what I want to focus on this year, is that the incarnation, the God with us, is still true, right? Like, it was enacted then. God has always been close, but he sends Jesus, and because of Jesus, we can be assured that God is still close. And even after a year like we've all experienced, when it doesn't feel like that, it's a good reminder. Like that, look at the Christmas story. Like, God literally came close to us and stayed close to us and is still present, even though we feel distant. So that's my reminder. I just want to be aware of it. I want to challenge my heart and my mind to focus and pay attention to the fact that God is close to us. And there's some time here for us to give us some space, away from our busyness, and just focus on the fact that God is still close and hasn't left us, hasn't forsaken us, and is still present. So, yeah. Well, everyone, we are so excited that you get to have a break and that you get to go off. And we hope that Christmas time and your winter break is something that brings you not just joy, but brings you relief, brings you some rest that you have needed. Let me pray for you, and then we'll send you out to have a great winter break. Let's pray. God, thank you for who you are, and we especially just thank you for Jesus. We thank you for the reality that because we can look at Jesus and him coming to this earth was literally you coming to be with us, and you are present. And so we praise you for that, and we thank you for that. And we ask, God, that even in the common answers on this screen and on this stage, we just want to focus on you, and we don't want to miss you, having gone through our entire winter break and having missed you the entire time. So, God, we ask that you let us see you, Let us hear your voice over the next month or so, maybe in a way we never expected, in a way we didn't even anticipate. Just let us see you. Let us know your presence. Let us know your closeness and your nearness to us. We thank you for the students that we get to serve. We thank you for what you're doing here on this campus and in this community at Jessup, and we look forward to seeing all the things that you're going to do in 2021. We look forward to it with anticipation, knowing that you are a God who is good, and there is goodness to follow all the days of our lives. So we praise you for who you are, and we pray all of this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Merry Christmas.
Yes. Bye.